Before we begin, I know this is a video no one's going to watch. This video is basically just for me, just to record my thoughts for all time about the night I had last night. I know wrestling is a niche thing. It's not nearly as popular as it used to be, but you know what? It is something that I grew up with. It is something I've always been a fan of, and when the wrestling is really good, I do think it is quite entertaining. And before anyone gets to me with like, it's fake, right? God, that's such an old mindset. It's no. You're dated. If that's the insult you're going for, if that's the mindset you have for, you're dated. Moved into the present with us. Most wrestling fans these days know it's fake. And most wrestlers these days, they don't really hold to what was called kayfabe, the art of keeping everything secretive and playing your character 24/7. You know, that's all gone, like for the most part. Everyone knows their characters on screen. That's pretty much just a thing now. So, and anytime someone tells me, wrestling's fake, right? I was like, yes, because The Walking Dead is so realistic. Unless you believe zombies really are roaming the planet in hordes and we are in the middle of an apocalypse, you think the exact same thing about The Walking Dead. So let's not go into that part of it. So, for starters, I figured this is. For starters, I'm going to let you guys know I already recorded this vlog, and then I went to the editor, and the audio didn't record for some reason, and I've never had that happen before. So that was super frustrating. So just a heads up, if I sound like I'm annoyed at some point, it's because I'm repeating literally everything I said earlier today. But I want to start off with just like, if you're not a wrestling fan, if you don't know what it's about, just a quick little like rundown thing. Nothing quite matches the excitement of a pro wrestling show. There aren't really like major lulls in a wrestling show, because even when because you get excited when someone comes down, they're playing their music, the video's going off, pyros setting off and all that. That's all exciting. When, of course, during the match, you're just watching these two performers just go through their match, and the big spots are super exciting, and then you're like waiting in anticipation for what's going to happen, and just when what's going to happen next in the match. Even after the match, you're still waiting for things to go down, because people could get jumped, people could run out, there's all kinds of things that can happen. There's very few lulls, and it's a roller coaster, between all those big spots and big appearances and those run-ins, and lots of craziness can happen. And the crowd gets so into it because the crowd feels like part of the show. In the performers in the ring, you can tell feed off of the crowd and their reaction. So it's not like baseball where you really only get excited when there's a home run. It's not like football where every time they finish a play, everyone just kind of like stands around, figures out what they're going to do next, and they go off to their own sides. And like between plays in football, there's a lot of downtime. So it's not like that. It is just like a constant level of energy that just keeps on a roller coaster, just keeps you guessing. So that's the fun of wrestling for me. And to know now, like I said before, most wrestling fans know it's fake. So you appreciate it in different ways. You don't care that the finish is scripted. What you care about is seeing what these athletes in the ring are doing. Being able to create a choreographed combat sequence where they're doing things that look superhuman, lifting other people easily, throwing them across the ring, making these massive dives, which you can't really fake. You can't fake gravity. But to do it all takes cooperation from both participants in each move and all the participants in each sequence. So to realize that this is all a choreographed dance where everyone has to be like pinpoint accurate, or else someone gets hurt, is a major thing. And it is a really impressive thing, I feel. And there's no fake athleticism to it. It takes a lot of muscle to lift someone over your head. It takes a lot of precision and flexibility to jump to the top rope and dive off. All of that plays into it. So in that realm, I appreciate it so much more, and I appreciate things like a bad guy who's really good at making me hate them, even though like I know they're playing a character. And I love and you learn to appreciate something like that because they're so good at doing it. You have to respect the level of hate they can draw out of a crowd. That's that's the fun of pro wrestling. And yeah, it's fake. I don't care. So that's just like a that's just a thing if you're not a pro wrestling fan. That's just how I get it. So to that point, if I'm trying to find the results because I had them up before just to make sure I got everything, and now I'm like funneling through the results again just to make sure I've got everything. So I got the okay. So because the way so let's get into like actually like how the show works. So AEW has a lot of different shows they film. So basically, like, yeah, I was at AEW live on Dynamite live television. If you looked above the left turnbuckle, you could see me. Like I'm far enough back that I am fuzzy. You can see like the red logo shirt and all that. Um, but you did see a few signs. I had one sign shouting out my friends that I watch Dynamite and Rampage with every week, and I had another sign participating in the Great Video Game Wars, where everyone posts some kind of video game referencey sign or some hot take on a JRPG. My sign was "It's been downhill since Final Fantasy VI." I know. FF7 and FF10 stands are out there. I know you're playing FF14 right now. Hey, go play a classic game. That's all I'm saying. That's my favorite video game of all time. I'm gonna defend it. So, I uh, I haven't been to a live show like this in a long, long time, and the last one I was at to was actually TNA. Now, Impact Wrestling, so much smaller than this, much bigger crowd, much bigger stars there. AEW has a stacked roster. The way the tapings work is you're going to get their Dark Elevation show that goes to YouTube for the first hour that you're there, 7 to 8. 8 to 10 is when they go live for Dynamite, and then 10 to 11 is when they tape Rampage, their Friday night show on TNT. So you get 4 hours of pro wrestling with like that butter zone in the middle. You get like a warm-up act, like a big performance from all the big stars where all the drama happens, the promos are cut and all that. And then you get a little encore at the end too, where you still get to see some like major stars, and even in this case, a fairly big debut. All really, really cool. I mean, it wraps up in a really good package. And I went to this one because it's like 15 minutes up the road from me. I've never had like anytime WWE comes to this area and runs this arena, it's always a dark show. It's a house show, which means it's not taped or televised. It's just a live appearance. This is the first time anyone's run in this arena and went to live TV, which made it super, super exciting. And yeah, I wasn't going to say no. I had to go. It was phenomenal. Obviously, it was. I bought the shirt. I bought the belt. If you know what the belt costs, don't tell anyone, especially not my family or my girlfriend. Um, don't don't narc on me. But yeah, I've uh, I've never been like a live show experience before. It was super super cool. So the dark elevation was fun to watch. AEW's talent roster is so deep that they can rotate the big stars from their weekly show and still give them something to do here. So they still earn a paycheck for appearance and performing. So you still get to see some decent stars even on Dark. Ruby Soho was there, who I was really hoping to get to see. I was really happy to see her and really excited for her music to hit. Jay Lethal, ROH legend, was there. Thank you for signing him just in time for me to actually get to watch. Frankie Kazarian was there too, which I thought was ironic because the last time I was at like a live wrestling event was the TNA weekly pay-per-view era, and Frankie was wrestling on those shows. So I thought it was nice to have that little bridge in my pro wrestling viewership. Let's see. And then like Rampage afterwards, after Dynamite, was also like cool. For the sake of playing along, I'm not going to reveal any results or anything. I will say when you're there live and you know what you're seeing isn't going to air on actual TV for a few more days, and to see things like updated graphics for everyone, new videos and all that, that it's weird because it's like the graphics team knew ahead of time that someone was going to betray or that some team was returning, and they had the package already set to go just in case it still happened. It's amusing when it happens live. The magic of television, as it were. But yeah, Rampage was super cool. Got to see Darby Allin wrestle in that one. Swerve Strickland debuted. Big indie star that WWE completely dropped the ball on when he was brought in. So good to see another drop ball from WWE. Keith Lee, got to see him perform live. The man is just, he's a mastodon. Like, you don't see human beings that big ever. So that was just like freaky. It was just hilarious to me. Not hilarious, but just like he's just so massive, like larger than life human being, and what he does in the ring is like unspeakable for like how big he is. After the show, and a few times in between shows, Tony Khan would come out and talk to the crowd. He's always super appreciative of everyone who comes out and watches. You can tell what a big fan he is. His parents live in the area, so he was talking to us about that, and it's been fun to know. Like, I feel like that alone is going to mean that they're going to be back in the area at some point. That this is not the only AEW show I'm going to get to go to. Just for that little nugget there. Uh, it was fun. And see, but for the main show, I think when you go to a wrestling show, you hope that you're there for something huge. You hope that you're there for like major title changes or a returning superstar or some major like face or heel turn. I got all of that. I got all of that and more. This was such a good show to go to. We didn't get to see CM Punk or MJF, which CM Punk was like right dead center of the poster for this show. So the fact that he wasn't there is actually really disappointing. But I can understand. They had a brutal match on Sunday. They're selling that injury by keeping them off TV. Perfectly understandable. I think what we got made up for that. Got to see Jericho turn heel. Got to sing along with Judas. That's really like the stuff that like the crowd does and plays along with. That's the cool stuff. That's so fun to participate in. I love that I actually got to sing Judas along with the crowd. I'm thrilled. I got Adam Cole came out to talk to the crowd after the show and do a couple Adam Cole bays. That was fun to do. Yeah, so Jericho turned heel, formed a new faction. That was super cool to find. Because it was after a pay-per-view, they didn't really announce too many matches ahead of time, so I really didn't know what show I was getting in a weird way. But I have faith in the product. I tell people, when WWE runs this arena, I never go because I know what I'll end up paying for. When AEW came to town, I bought the best ticket I could afford because I know what I was paying for. So I get to actually, so yeah, my faith was well rewarded. While I'm sitting in the seat at Elevation, I'm discovering that, okay, I'm going to get a tag team championship match. I'm going to get a world championship match. The really cool stuff, they don't do every show. So we got to see Hangman Adam Page, phenomenal talent. His match was great. There's a sequence at the end with him and Dante Martin where they're just countering each other and over, and it's like really really fluid, really cool finish. Let's see. Bryan Danielson and John Moxley tag teaming for the first time with William Regal. Thank you, WWE, for firing him because he is such a good talent to have. Even if he can't wrestle anymore, the charisma and the work and the words he is capable of are phenomenal. Getting to see that like really emotional promo live, that was really cool. Let's see, a little bit of Danhausen, just a little bit. Didn't curse anyone this show, but he was there. He was around. We had the Wardlow interview, uh, Jurassic Express defending against the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed are such good heels. They're so freaking obnoxious. And yeah, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, like probably one of my favorite tag teams I've seen in a long, long time. They have the big man, little man dynamic down perfectly. And Jungle Boy himself, we describe something called liquid wrestling these days, where everything is just so smooth and fluid. It looks like flowing water. And that is Jungle Boy, and he gets better all the time. Dude is going to be a huge star. Just super, super impressive what he is capable of. And it's Luke Perry. It's Luke Perry's son. It's like Beverly Hills 90210 Luke Perry. Like that Luke Perry. It's his kid. And yeah, one of the best workers I've seen live. Absolutely fantastic. See, Thunder Rosa was cool to see in person. Um, yeah, we got a little bit of Britt Baker and her crew. The big one was, the big match was Scorpio Sky beating Sammy Guevara for the championships at the end. Anytime you get to see a title change live is super cool. I really didn't expect one, which that's the cool thing about AEW. Sometimes they actually give you things you're not expecting. So very, very, very cool to actually be there for it. Weird way to get the belts off of Sammy. Because like when he went, like because when he dove off the top and went through the table, like the sound in the arena, like TV does not capture just what those tables sound like, especially on a huge crash like that. Like it's just like thunders through the arena, and it's so brutal in person. Even like my view was obstructed, but just to be that even like 6 rows back, it was still like huge. And then there was like the moment of the whole show, which was the return of Jeff Hardy, making his debut. His contract expired at midnight on Wednesday, and he was already signed. The classic music had already been licensed because WWE never owned the original Hardy Boy music. It was a licensed track. You hear it in commercials. Top Gear used it. And now AEW has it. So it's now 2 performers, him and Punk, that get to come out to the music they've always been known for. Nice little loophole that gives us a little bit of nice nostalgia. So it still feels like the Hardy Boys. It's not like when they were in TNA and they just come up with like replacement music and generic crap. It's like it feels like them again. Like you always, I think the biggest thing for a wrestling fan at a live show is to see something that is genuinely historic in some way. The Hardys have been talking about retirement because they're daredevil wrestlers. They've battered their bodies for decades now. Matt's been talking about he didn't want to retire without Jeff. They are doing their like one last run tour through appearances and indie shows. So to have them now, to actually be there at the beginning of the end. I was there for I was one of just a few thousand that can say they were there when Matt and Jeff reunited for the last time. And that to me is so freaking cool. So I did get to see a little bit of wrestling history last night. And like I said, like they are very quick nostalgia. When we went to Rampage, the Hardys came out for one of the segments to kind of fend off the AFO. and they were already done up in like classic regalia with the arm warmers and the mesh shirts, and they had the classic music. They already had a Titan. I hate calling it a Titantron because that was like an old WWF Titan Towers thing. Um, but they already had an entrance video with footage. It looks like they shot like that day. Like they just went to a park somewhere nearby and started filming footage of the two together. Or it might just been at Matt's house. Like that could have easily been a thing too. It's hard to tell, but they were already built up. They already had the graphics and everything. Someone worked super fast on that. Well, obviously not. Obviously not super fast. Illusion television. But yeah, that was, of course, that was the highlight. That was the absolute highlight. I'm trying to think of anything else cool. There was a girl there that was there for her birthday. She had a Darby Allin sign, so for her birthday, they like pulled her out of the crowd and put her ringside before Darby's match. That was cool. It was one of the female rep of AEW, Audrey. It was her birthday. She's super over, by the way. Super over, like probably the most popular referee I've heard of in a long time. So a lot of fun playing with the crowd with that. But yeah, it's just like absolutely amazing experience. I've never been to a pro wrestling show. Like there's really nothing that can like equate to it. I can't really describe like, oh, it's like this. No. Pro wrestling is its own thing, and it has its own feel and its own energy. And if you ever get the chance, whether it's a AEW or a local indie or that other big promotion that's not nearly as good as it used to be, whatever it is, go watch a pro wrestling show at least once in your life, just so you see, like, maybe try to understand the appeal of it. If you've watched this long and you're not a wrestling fan, I thank you very much for putting up with me and giving me a little bit of an algorithm rub. And if you are a wrestling fan, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to know if I could actually get away with this kind of topic once in a while on this channel. So thank you guys for watching. As always, I appreciate it. I love you all for it. And stay tuned. I promise the next video will not be wrestling related. Until then. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.